interests. You want to know the enemy? That's the enemy.
What about your average American? Babbitt Q. Babbitt is seen in every small town and every small mine from here to Baton Rouge.
Excuse me.
You're in journalism.
Sorry.
I'm in government. The New Republic says things. We do them. You should try coming to Washington.
Right now I have this round-trip ticket to Sacramento.
So, we're all getting invited to Washington.
I think I'll go eat.
Personal history. I guess we could all write one of those, huh?
Huh? It's getting pretty warm in here, isn't it?
Aren't you going to eat?
In due course.
I rarely like to wait that long.
There's always one on every train.
I'm not really hungry myself yet. I guess I'll wait too.
Now I'll never get any lunch. He'll want to come with me. First he'll grab the check, then he'll grab me under the table.
Can I talk to you?
You can talk while I listen.
You're putting me in my place. May I know what place you're putting me in?
A nice little bourgeois niche with a two-car garage anywhere between here and who gives a damn.
I live in Cleveland, as a matter of fact. But I spend almost half my time in NYC. Business.
What kind of business?
Yes. Traveling salesman. If it sounds any better to you, I'm an executive in Brick House Steel.
There was this Austrian millionaire died, and his obituary said he was an iron and steel. Karl Kraus said it should have said he was an iron and stole.
I put you down as a radical the moment I heard your voice. How about a drink?
How about you let me get on with my reading, if you know what that is?
Radical and aggressive.
Attack me, I defend myself. Should there be a law against it?
I'm not voting for it. I hate a walkover. Okay with you if I improve myself?
You seem to have room for it. Subscription form on page 6.
I'll just take a nibble before I send my dollar, if you don't mind. The role of the masses in industrial planning cannot fail to be commanding in the years ahead. I'd sooner subscribe to the Horseshit Gazette. The Coming Struggle. More Karl Marx for beginners? Why struggle when you could be coming anyway? Enlighten me. We have 2 whole days for the process. Enlighten me over a drink and we just might come in under schedule. Can Mona Lisa speak? Or is she stuck in the silent era?
I don't go, I'm chicken. I do go, I'm cooked. Could be an article here. Sex and the modern female. Let's go to the dining car. It'll at least be cooler.
I got a bottle of whiskey in my compartment. I know it's cooler there. I promise to leave the door open.
Maybe it's better we just don't go through it.
More fun if we do.
Fun plays no part in my agenda right now.
I'm duly warned. It's a little bright in here, don't you think? Yeah, that's better.
Anything else for you, sir?
We have everything we want.
Ma'am?
Leave the door. First, an obvious question. How did you get into journalism and why?
A bit and scratched. I wanted to tell people the truth.
And did you find they wanted to hear it?
Son, can I ask you something?
That's the glory of this kind of thing, isn't it?
Glory may be overdoing it slightly. What's the significance of this?
Well, we had a little officers' club in France during the war. The Four Deuces, we called ourselves.
So what kind of a thing is this?
Brooks Brothers does them for me, custom made. They put the doodah on gratis. I order a dozen at a time, gets it over with. Strangers on a train. You can really talk to strangers. Leone thinks I'm stodgy, buying my shirts like that. I get everything at Brooks Brothers.
Your wife?
I got her in Cleveland.
She never comes with you on trips?
She's a homebody, I guess. She takes care of the kids. We've got the 3.
2 boys and a girl.
You've been peeking. She's smart. Vassar. You probably like each other. She's a little radical around the edges herself. Goes to French classes.
French? Yeah. Good for Leone.
She'll never understand why you wasted your time talking to poor old Jerry. See what I mean about these trips? Catholics go to confession. We have to take a train to California. Why are you going?
I have to see my dad. I have something I have to tell him.
You're going to get married.
Again. Do you have a first wife?
First wife? No. First love. That was a long time ago, New York. Eleanor. She liked the uniform. Captain Breen, U.S. Cavalry. What does your father think about your politics?
Same as you, I guess. Didn't always, though. In the old days, he fought the bosses all the way, the old railroad crowd. He really locked horns with those bastards.
At least those bastards opened the country, didn't they? Imagine still having a frontier to cross. Think 40's too old to do things?
Much.
Oh, there you are.
Don't worry, I still have my clothes on.
Excuse me.
And my knees together.
How about if I order some lunch in here?
I could survive a little blotting paper.
I had a buddy in the war. He used to say, there's only one war I ever want to be in after this, and that's the sex war. He drowned in the River Seine, pie-eyed drunk. You have to go to Paris.
As soon as the war breaks out.
Friends I had then, I've never had one like them.
People never do once they're grown up, do they?
Once they're married. If you even think that you'd like to marry a girl, you know the first thing that happens is, and I'm not talking about cheating, that's small potatoes. It's just that a man doesn't want his wife to understand him.
My husband and I understood each other totally. I don't believe Wilbur ever had a thought he didn't share with me.
And you loved Wilbur so much that you went and took up with another man. You were sure he'd understand. And did he?
He was devastated.
So now you're gonna marry the other one.
No. After I got my divorce from Wilbur, I didn't want Bunny anymore. The one I'm marrying is called Max.
Max? That sounds positively bearded to me. Are you in love with him?
We're much more alike than Wilbur and I ever were. He's a bit of a bohemian, too. He's also very selfish.
Sounds ideal.
Wilbur was so good. He was so vulnerable. The back of his neck was like a little boy's.
If you ask me, you're still in love with him. The back of his neck.
You remind me of a priest. When I used to go to confession.
You're Catholic.
Was. Didn't you say something about lunch? I have this terrific appetite suddenly.
You sure it's for lunch?
Totally positive.
Is your dad gonna like this new man of yours, Max?
She'll have to, won't he? Including the beard. I think it's time I said thank you very much for the hospitality.
I think you're absolutely right.
It's getting choppy out there. I think I better crawl back to my own cabin, don't you think so, Skipper? Great, great shirt.
I bet you've read a lot of books.
I bet you haven't. Do you want to hear my favorite quote?
What else am I waiting for?
Rule 1, never quote poetry to men.
All poetry's an invitation, right?
What isn't, in my experience? I am mine own woman, well at ease. Geoffrey Chaucer, Canterbury Tales.
I am my own woman, and I'm easy with it, right?
Right. Ish.
And are you? Easy.
Do you want to hear the story of Cressida in modern dress, Mercury Theater style? I'll give you strictly the condensed version, okay? This little girl's been just about everybody's. Take 'em as they come, and believe me, mister, they come. Lame ducks welcome. Meet the Greenwich Village swan of the year. Do you want to know what exhaustive researches have revealed in the vacuum? The evaluation of the opposite sex in this little girl's not wholly limited experience. The handsome ones aren't worth a damn. Pretty boys make lousy lovers. Which includes Max. Mix and whatever you got with his straight nose. I'm not saying that all men are unreliable, but the reliable ones are weird looking, including the backs of their necks. The rich ones wear lifts. They wear eyeglasses. And they can very, very rarely find the keys to their trust funds. The clever ones, PhDs and up, are almost always alkies, and I cannot bite a drinker unless they're swishy. My idea of a healthy diet, I had to tell you this, is very seldom past the fruitcake. Which brings us, am I monopolizing this conversation? Which brings us to the serious ones. The serious ones are not to be found in Prickhouse steel. Not on a bet. I'm being candid here to the point of self-incrimination. Leveling with a class enemy. Should I maybe get my cell on the line? Or can you get me Moscow direct?
You don't belong in their class in a month of Sundays. Be what Geoffrey Chaucer says you are. A princess.
Geoffrey said that. I haven't read him in ages. I think I'll toddle along. Toddle along. and get him from the library. Which direction is that library on this boat?
Library's closed right now.
Me too. Is that a doorknob?
Could be.
It feels like it's just my size. Good night. Dream about me if you can.
Moscow isn't answering your call.
No dice, Steelman. That's me on the line, and my answer is in. Oh.
Feels like N-O-W to me.
Cheyenne, Wyoming, next stop. Cheyenne, Wyoming, next.
Did Mommy's little girl get safely home? Drunk, but in other respects undefiled? Uh-oh. Please, God, Dreamboat is no longer there. Oh, no. That damn shirt. Maybe nothing really happened. Maybe I just passed out. Maybe I only dreamed. No, I didn't. I didn't. Father, I have sinned against heaven and against Max, and am no more worthy. Keep calm. Nobody has to know.
Can I fetch you folks some breakfast?
Jesus Christ, the whole world knows. Major headlines, front page. Later, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Holy Virgin, now I remember all of it. Some of all of it. Oh my God, now he knows it all. I'm the kind of a girl who uses a pin in her pants. You're a son of a bitch, but you're a tidy son of a bitch, so what did you do with my stockings? Where is my other stocking, big boy? He probably tipped the waiter with it. God damn it. Where have you been, sugar?
Dearest.
He beats me black and blue, and then he calls me dearest, Mr. America.
Crazy about you.
Wouldn't you know it? Now we're into the big musical number. Have I maybe
Come on
seen
to
this
San
show
Francisco
before?
with me. I'll fix it with Leonie to get a divorce.
The club car had the air conditioning. None of this would have happened.
I love you.
Sweetie, I'm engaged.
You could never have done the things that you did if you were in love with anybody else.
I was tight, Mr.
Jerry
Excuse me?
is my name, Jerry Breen.
Terrific. I didn't do things. You did
The
things.
hell you didn't. A girl like you doesn't let a man have her just because she's tight. Kiss me, beautiful.
Mind if I throw up first? Don't be nice to me. I just may throw up again.
Take it like medicine.
I hate to think what the porter must think.
He thinks he's $10 to the good. I'll give him 10 more when I get off. He thinks you're the tops.
So I'm a $10 tomato.
I'm not letting you go. Whatever damn commie newspaper you write for.
Just what I always wanted. A capitalist son of a bitch who knows how to tip sleeping car attendants. A man with no shame, no accent, no beard, and personalized shirts made by the dozen. A gentleman called Jerry.
If only this had happened 10 years ago.
Do you like 14-year-old girls? Does Leone know about this?
I wasn't so fat then.
Were you told her to? Full payment, okay?
Like hell. You owe me more than that. And yourself.
Think the library's open yet?
You've had all the books you're ever gonna need to have. I need you, Angel. And I'm gonna have you.
Why do we do the things we do? If the comrades could see me now. Stand by for a fascist invasion.
Oh, Angel. Angel. You remember your first time?
Vividly.
Mine was called Kiki. She said, I can still see that derriere going up the rickety stairs ahead of me. I was shaking like I was going to my own execution. And she knew it. I was, a little quick on the trigger, as you can maybe imagine.
Easily.
She was very understanding, like you would be.
Don't necessarily bank on that.
Kiki knew a thing or three, that's for sure. I was shocked, if you can believe that.
I can believe anything if it isn't nice.
I was afraid she might put something extra on the tab. Imagine, I was already an officer, and I was still 12 years old, maximum.
Don't you love him? Could you love him? Picture of a capitalist cock crowing his head off and never guessing what a noise he's making. I sure hate sex sometimes. His sex in particular. And the war that goes with it. He really thinks he won, so he invites Kiki to the victory parade. She taught him everything he knows, and he sure knows a trick or two. Not that I'm impressed, I'm not. But ride 'em cowboy seems to be the motto, all right.
Did you ever play golf?
Golf.
You should just see the course at Del Monte. Or we could go to France.
I could acquire a swing just in time to go fight fascism. Tell you what you do. Go back to Leone.
And tell her the whole story?
Tell her nothing whatsoever.
Leone's got a lot of good qualities. You'd like each other.
We could do French together. Maybe Kiki could come give us some special tuition. Maybe we could all live together, the three of us. Menage a trois. Now there's a French lesson they haven't maybe had in Cleveland yet.
How about an apartment of your own? Central Park West someplace.
Do you like black silk undies by any chance? Red suspender belts? Peekaboo brassieres with little holes cut out?
Porter,
Doesn't everybody?
excuse me. Can you do something for me, possibly? Because I need it.
I'll get you a charge account. You can throw away that safety pin of yours. Live dangerously at my expense.
I don't even like to say this man's first name. I am seriously reluctant to say his first name. Jerry.
It's time you had a real man in your life. Someone, who
He isn't going to say really take care of me, is he?
really take care of you.
Bingo.
For 10 years, I've been feeling as if I'd missed the boat.
Boats get a long way in 10 years. That can involve a very big step between dock and deck.
You're once-in-a-lifetime material.
And here it's been twice already. That should just about wrap me up, shouldn't it? Dear, dear Mr. Breen.
It's Jerry, didn't I tell you?
I consulted the Supreme Soviet. We all prefer Mr. Breen.
How about Mrs. Breen?
Sacramento, next stop. Next stop, Sacramento.
You don't marry me, what'll happen to you? That's a terrible life you're leading. In a few years, you're gonna be one of those bohemian horrors with greasy hair and long earrings from New Mexico. Makes me sick to think about it. Ask your father.
You fell in love with me precisely because that's what I am, a bohemian.
No, that's not what you really are. You're
Not a sweet girl. Don't.
underneath. You're just a sweet girl who doesn't want anybody to know it. I know it.
No plutocrat calls me sweet and gets away with it.
You don't want to marry, what's his name?
Max,
Max.
isn't it? Sure I do, don't I? Don't make me laugh. I want to cry. Do I? I don't want to laugh or cry. What do I want to do?
Sacramento! Sacramento!
It's been the happiest time of my life. I mean that. Now, you promise that you'll call me?
Oh, excuse me.
I'll come and meet you on your way back if it's the last thing I do. You're not gonna marry Max, anybody. You're gonna marry me or nobody at all.
Why do we never say the things we mean to say? I went to visit my father. I acted like it was just one more trip to see him. He knew it was the last. I left him without even mentioning Max. There are no real words to say goodbye with. I went and called Breen and told him the train I was catching. Nice girls keep their promises. But why do they promise in the first place?
Leaving in 2 minutes.
God help me.
Leaving in 2 minutes.
Will I even recognize you? If you're not wearing the shirt. Could you possibly be a little more like Gary Cooper than memory suggests? With the right tailor and the right ideas? Maybe a tad more in the way of conversation? What do I really want? Mr. Left or Mr. Right?
Sweetheart! You're really here. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to Philly, staying 3 nights. Come with me.
What second prize? I'll take that, Mr. Breen.
It's still Jerry, and he still wants to marry you.
How's Leonie? And the 2 boys? And the girl? Jerry, you shouldn't have.
Listen, we've booked a vacation, the whole family. We're going to Vermont. I promised to teach Jerry Jr. how to shoot.
Right between the eyes.
I'll talk to Leone after that. Yeah, I'd give anything to go with you right now. But
You can't. You mustn't.
you're right.
We have to be sensible, don't we?
How was your father, really?
Sad, very.
I hope I get to see him one day.
The train will leave in 2 minutes. The train will leave in 2 minutes.
I'll come see you in New York just as soon as I can.
I'll just editorialize until you get there.
Till then, sweetheart.
Oh, no. I bet it's the shirt.
Before the revolution. Promise?
Aboard. All aboard.
Will he come to New York? He'll come. He'll book dinner in some fancy place. Bonsoir, Monsieur Breen. The conversation will be strained and raunchy by turns. He'll talk about fidelity and get off on betrayal. We'll go back to his room at Delmonico's and he'll want to do stuff we never did before. Then he'll sigh and look at his watch. Time sure does fly when you're happy. He'll say he'll be coming back, but he won't. He'll go back to Leone. So much for strangers on a train. There has to be more to the future than Jerry Breen, executive lover. Unless there's less.
Hello, kid. Been waiting long? I couldn't hear the bell. How about a cocktail, sweet? Mightn't that be an idea? I'll make them.
I'm fine here. You go get dressed.
All right.
They lived in the roaring 20s, that era of wonderful nonsense when everyone smoked, drank, and kissed easily. He was a charmer with a voice as intimate as the rustle of sheets. She was one of those anxious young women caught in his web. Here, surrounded by gifts paid for by unwitting husbands, she came for her evening of passion. Welcoming you back, ladies and gentlemen, on this enchanting New York night, it's Johnny Johnson and his orchestra from the Astor Roof, high atop the Great White Way in Midtown Manhattan. Tonight, may you all be easy to love.
Hey, kid, would you like some more light?
No, I like it better in the dusk like this. It's sweet. Dusk is so personal somehow. This is nice. So nice being here.
It's nice and peaceful. Oh, Lord, why can't people just be peaceful? That's little enough to ask, isn't it? Why does there have to be so much hell all the time?
There doesn't have to be. There's never any need for hell.
There's an awful lot of it around, sweet.
There certainly is. Well, second-raters would stir up hell. First-rate people wouldn't. You'd never have another bit of it in your beautiful life if you could just manage to give up that band of spitting hellcats that constantly prowl around you, my lamb. Oh, Hoby, I've been wanting to tell you for so long, but it's so rotten hard to say. If I say it, it makes me sound like one of them. It makes me seem jealous. Just I worry so about you. You're so fine, you're so lovely, and it nearly kills me to see you just eaten up by a lot of things like Margot Wadsworth or Mrs. Holt or Evie Maynard and those. You're so much better than that. You know, that's why I'm saying it. I haven't got a stitch of jealousy in me. Jealous. Good heavens, if I was going to be jealous, I'd be about someone worthwhile and not some silly, stupid, idle, worthless, hysterical, promiscuous, sex-ridden.
Darling.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm sorry. Maybe the way they behave isn't really their fault. After all, they'll never know how lovely it is when we're alone together. Oh, it is, Hoby, isn't it? Isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Hoby! Hey, you promised you'd forget about last Wednesday. You said you'd never remember it again. Oh, whatever made me do it. Making scenes, having tantrums, rushing out in the middle of the night, and then crawling back. Me who wanted to show you how different a woman could be. Tell me I wasn't as terrible as I know I was.
Darling, you were the worst I ever saw.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear, oh, dear. What can I say? Sorry isn't nearly enough. I'm broken. I'm in little bits. Would you mind doing something about putting me together again? Listen, I want to say it all now and then never say it anymore. I want to tell you that there will never, never be anything like last Wednesday ever again. What we have is much too lovely ever to cheapen. I promise you, I won't ever be like anybody else.
You couldn't be, kid.
Oh, think that always. Say it sometimes. It's so sweet to hear. Will you, Hoby?
For your size, you talk an awful lot.
Guess I'd rather be right this minute more than anybody else in the world.
Who?
Me.
There's that damn telephone.
Isn't it? And wouldn't it be?
Let's not answer it. Let's let it ring.
No, you mustn't. No, I must be big and strong. Anyway, maybe it's somebody who just died and left you $20 million. Maybe it isn't some other woman at all. And what if it is? What difference does it make? See how sweet and reasonable I'm being? Look at me being generous.
You can afford to be, sweetheart.
I know I can. After all, whoever she is, she's miles away. And I'm right here.
Yes? Hello? Hello?
Except for my big toenail, you're the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
Hello. Hey, operator. Operator.
Yes, this is Mr. Ogden. Who? Oh, hello. Hello, Connie. How are you, dear? The only thing is I've got to go right out. So if you came into town now, it really wouldn't do much. Well, I can't very well do that, dear. keeping these people waiting as it is. The door when you call. Why don't you wait, Connie, and come into town tomorrow sometime? Well, can't you tell me now? Why, of course, I'd do anything in the world if I could, but I tell you I can't tonight. No, 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 it isn't that at all. No, it isn't anything like that. No, no, these people are friends of my sister's, and I've got to go out with them, and it's just one of those things you got to do. Look, why don't you be a good girl and go to bed early, and that way you'll feel better tomorrow? Hmm? Will you do that? What? Of course I do, Connie. Well, all right if you really want to, but I don't know what time I'll be home. Of course I do, Connie. Now, you be a good girl, won't you? Bye, dear. Oh, God.
How is dear Mrs. Holt?
Great. Corking way up at the top of her form.
I wasn't aware that she had a form.
She says she has something she wants to tell me.
Can't be her age.
She says it's too hard to say over the telephone.
Well, then it must be her age. She's afraid that it might sound like her telephone number.
About twice a week, Connie has something she must tell you right away that she couldn't possibly say over the telephone. Usually it turns out she's found the butler drinking again.
I see.
Poor little Connie.
Poor little Connie.
Darling, why do we have to waste time talking about Connie Holt? Couldn't we just be peaceful?
Not while that she-beast prowls the streets. Is she coming into town tonight?
Well, she was. But then she more or less said she wouldn't.
Oh, she will. She will. Oh, Hoby, you don't really want to see that old thing tonight, do you? Do you? Because if you do, maybe you do. Naturally, if Connie has something she wants to tell you right away, you want to see her. Look, Hoby, you know you can see me anytime. You know it's not a bit important seeing me tonight. So why don't you call her back right away? Huh? Tell her to take the next train out. It's faster than motoring and certainly safer since I don't think her night vision is all that good. You know that she wears special glasses? So please, it's quite all right with me, really. Do it.
Oh, kid. You know damned well the last thing I want is to see Connie Holt. You know I want to be with you. Why do you work up all this? I watched you just sit here and deliberately talk yourself into a state starting right out of nothing. Now, what's the idea of that?
I usually work myself into a state, as you call it, on my feet. But whoever was responsible for this piece of decor left me no option but to do it sitting down.
Oh, good Lord. What's the matter with women, anyway?
Please don't call me women.
I'm sorry, darling. I didn't mean to use bad words.
I'm sorry. Obviously, I spoke ill-advisedly. If I caused you some distress, please believe that it was my misfortune and not my intention.
Now, what would you have done if I'd taken you up on your offer and called back Connie Holt?
Oh, I should have died. I only said it because I wanted to hear you say it was me you wanted to be with. Oh, I need to hear you say that, Hoby. It's what I live on, darling.
Kit, you ought to know all that without me saying it. It's this feeling you have to say things. That's what spoils everything.
I suppose so. I suppose I know so. Well, the thing is, I just get so mixed up. I didn't always need reassuring, not at first, but things aren't, well, they aren't the same now. There just seem to be so many others. And how do you think it makes me feel to sit there and hear you lie to Connie Holt? To hear you say that you need to go out with friends of your sister? Why can't you just say that you have a date with me? Are you ashamed of me, Hoby? Is that it?
Oh, Kit, for heaven's sakes, I don't know why I did it. I did it before I even thought. I did it, well, I guess I did it instinctively, because it was the easiest thing to do. I suppose I'm just weak.
No. You weak? And is there any other news tonight?
I know I am. I know it's weak to do anything in the world to avoid a scene.
Exactly what is Connie Holt to you and you to her that she may make a scene if she learns you have an engagement with another woman?
Oh, God. I told you I don't give a damn about Connie Holt. She's nothing to me. Now, will you, for God's sakes, drop it?
She's nothing to you. I see. That would be, of course, why you call her dear every other word.
If I did, I never knew I was saying it. Good Lord, that doesn't mean anything. It's simply a form of nervousness, I suppose. I mean, why, I call telephone operators dear.
I'm sure you do.
Will you stop? Will you stop it? Will you just be sweet and loving and stop fighting?
To hell with Mrs. Holt.
To hell with her.
How do I know that the way you talk to me about Mrs. Holt isn't just the same way you talk to her about me when I'm not there?
Oh, Lord.
How do I know that?
Oh, dear sweet Lord. Oh, baby, just please stop. Stop it. Can we just be sweet and peaceful? Like this?
Thank you, darling. If you only knew how much I hate your lampshades.
Honestly? What's the matter with them?
Dearest, if you don't know, I couldn't ever explain it to you. Let's not talk just now.
Try explaining.
Well, among other things, they're banal, inappropriate, and unbeautiful. But that should come as no surprise, given Evie Maynard's taste.
You don't like the way she decorated the apartment, kid?
Sweetheart, I think it's poisonous. You know that.
Would you like to do it over?
I should say not. I'm the one who doesn't want to decorate your apartment. But if I ever did, the first thing I would do would be to paint these walls putty color. No, the first thing I would do would be to tear away all of this chintz, and I'd fling into the winds, and then I'd... I think your telephone is ringing. Don't let me keep you from answering it. I really must go powder my nose.
No, that would be delightful. Why, dear?
Is there a livery stable around here where they rent wild horses? Because if there is, I wish you'd call them up and ask them to send over a couple of teams.
Why?
Because I want to show you that they couldn't drag me into asking you who was on the telephone.
Is this dry enough, sweet? Because you like them dry, don't you? What do you think? Hmm?
I can't stand it, tell me.
All right, I think it's a little too dry.
Hoby, who was that on the telephone?
Oh, that. Well, that was a lady who shall remain nameless.
But if she had one, would it be Connie Holt?
No, that was the funniest thing.
I'm waiting to laugh.
That was Evie Maynard, just when we were talking about her.
Well. And isn't it a small world? And what's on her mind, if I may so flatter her? Is her butler drunk, too?
Evie doesn't have a butler. No, she's just busy, same as usual. She's got a cocktail party at her apartment, and they all want to go out on the town, that's all.
Well, luckily you were going out with these friends of your sister. You were just going out the door when she called.
I never told her any such thing. I said I had a date that I'd been looking forward to all week.
Well, did you mention any names?
There's no reason why I should. It's none of her affair. Any more than what she's doing or who she's doing it with is any concern of mine. I've hardly seen her since she did the apartment. I don't care if I never see her again. I'd rather I never saw her again.
You obviously don't have to. She left so much of herself behind. What did she want?
She wanted to drop by for a cocktail. She and a few of those interior decorator boys she has with her. I told her absolutely no.
And you think that'll keep her away? Oh, no, she'll be here. She and those carnivorous butterflies that flutter around her. Now, let's see. They ought to arrive just about the time Mrs. Holt has thought it over and decided to come into town, all bearing gifts of chintz. Well, this is shaping up into a lovely evening, isn't it?
Great. And, if I may say so, you are doing everything you can to make it harder, you little sweet. Why are you being so nasty, kid?
I know it's horrible, but it's, well, I do it in self-defense. If I didn't say all those nasty things, I'd cry.
Please cry.
I'm afraid to cry. It would take so long to stop. All those awful women. If they were fine, if they were sweet and gentle and intelligent, maybe I shouldn't mind. Maybe I should. I don't know. I don't know much of anything anymore. My mind goes round and around. I thought that what we had was so different. Well, it wasn't. And you know, Hoby, I used to come first. I did. I did.
You did and you do.
And I always will.
And you always will.
Hoby.
Just please be sweet again, kid. Like this, darling. Like this, child.
You know, this is my fault. I did this. It was me. I was the one who said, let's meet here instead of at my house. I said it would be quieter. Yes, I said that. It was me.
I give you my word, that damned thing hasn't rung in a week.
Well, it was lucky for me that I was here the last time it did, wasn't it? I'm known as Little Miss Horseshoes. Well, oh, for God's sake, just answer it, Hoby. It's driving me crazy.
I hope to God it's a wrong number. Hello. Yes. Oh, hello there. How are you, dear? Oh, did you? Ah, that's too bad. Why, you see, I was out with some friends of mine. I was out till quite late. Oh, that's too bad you waited up all that time. No, I did not say that, Margot. I said I'd come if I possibly could. That's exactly what I said. I did so. Well, then you misunderstood me. Well, you must have. Now, there's no need to be unreasonable at it, Margot. It was a misunderstanding, that's all. I'm terribly sorry. Why, I can't tonight, dear. Because I can't. Because I have a date I've had for a long time. Yes. Oh, now, please, Margot. Margot, please don't. Now, don't do that. Margot, I tell you I won't be in. All right, come ahead if you wish, but I won't be here. Listen, I can't talk to you when you're like this. I'll call you tomorrow, dear. Look, I've got to run now. Bye. Bye. How about another cocktail, sweet? Don't you think we ought... What's all this about?
I'm so sorry, but I truly must go home.
Oh, really? May I ask why?
So sweet of you to be interested. Thank you very much. Well, it just so happens that I can't stand any more of this. Spare me the insult. There is somewhere, I think, some proverb about a worm's eventually turning. It's doubtless from the Arabic. They so often are. Well, good night, Hoby. And thank you for those delicious cocktails. They've cheered me up wonderfully.
Ah, listen, please don't do this, kid. Please don't, darling. Please. This is just the way you were last Wednesday.
I'm so sorry you have such little respect for tradition. Now give me back my hand. I'd like to leave nothing behind. Good night, Hoby, and good luck always.
All right, kid. If this is what you want to do.
Want to do? It's nothing I want. I just thought it'd be rather easier for you if you could be alone with your telephone.
My Lord, do you think I want to talk to those fools? What can I do? Take the receiver off? Is that what you want me to do?
Why not? It's a good trick of yours. Isn't that what you did last Wednesday when this fool tried calling you after she'd gone home and was in agony all night?
I did not. The operator must have been calling up the wrong number. I was alone here all night.
So you said.
I don't lie to you, kid.
That is the most outrageous lie you've ever told me. Good night, Hoby.
Good night, kid.
I'm sorry it must end like this.
Good night, kid.
It does seem too bad, doesn't it?
Oh, kid, can't you understand? You always used to. Don't you know how I am? Oh, don't do this, kid, please. Please just take these things off and come and sit down.
Sit down and wait for the ladies to gather?
They're not coming.
How do you know? They've come before, haven't they? How do you know they won't come tonight?
I don't know. I don't know what the hell they'll do. I don't know what the hell you'll do anymore, and I thought you were different.
Oh, darling, I was different. Just so long as you thought I was different. Isn't that sad?
Oh, kid. Kid, darling, just come and be the way we were. Come and sit and be sweet and peaceful. And later on, we can go to some quiet place and have dinner. And we'll talk. All right? Will you?
Well, if you think.
I think.
Just go answer it, you damn stallion!
Hello. Oh, yes, hello. Of course I remember. I do too remember you. We met at what? No, I have nothing going on tonight. Why? Well, we can meet wherever you wish. What time? Well, we could meet here, but no. That would be lovely. I tell you what you do. Ring the bell 2 long and 3 short. No, I tell you what. Ring the bell 3 long and 2 short. What? No, it's not anything like that. It's just that a business acquaintance might drop by, and we don't want any such intruders. Do we? Well, I look forward to a lovely evening of sweetness and peace. Bye, dear.
Бумажная карта лежит на столе, трюмы забиты ромом. Наша команда жаждет новых побед. Корабль уходит в море, синее море до горизонта. Дует попутный ветер. Для пирата всегда светит солнце. Он может все на свете.
The express to Madrid?
40 minutos.
Ask him if there's a telegraph.
Hay un telégrafo aquí?
Sí, ahí.
I'm going to be sick. As there's a telegraph. Por favor, you hear my Spanish? Hash, for God's sake. You have a telegraph?
Ahí.
Oh, yeah.
Ahí, ahí.
Oh, gracias. Aquí.
¿Dónde? Ahí dentro.
On March 31st, mailed you registered letter enclosing signed contract, book of stories, and requesting money then due me as advance on royalties. Stop. This money to date not received. Stop. Please, please, please repeat. Please.
Más despacio.
Importante. Importante.
Señor, un momentito.
Importante. Sent to Guarantee Trust of New York, number 4, numero 4, Place de la Concorde, Paris, France. Stop. Regards, Davis. Davis. Okay? You want to read that back?
Hierba buena, medicina muy buena. De nada. Yo tengo 6 hijos.
Sorry over deadline.
Deadline. D-E-A-D.
Sorry over deadline. Bad situation. Barcelona more complicado.
Complicated. Complicado. Fine. Forget it. I mean, send it. You feel better?
I feel fine. There's nothing wrong with me. I feel fine. You want to have a beer?
Sure. Dos cervezas?
Sí, señor.
Gracias.
Remember that house in La Gare Frenay? And we had a curtain like that on the kitchen door, only it was ribbons, colored ribbons. And I wanted to just stay there.
Every place we've ever been, you wanted to just stay there.
Well, you never wanted to stay anywhere.
I would want to stay somewhere with water. Not a pond like back there, but running water. Good big trout stream that nobody else was allowed to fish in. And 2 houses, one where I would have my children and my wife, and the other where I would have my 9 beautiful mistresses.
Which house would I live in?
Well, I'd have to have a 3rd house for you. A rich girl's house. And when I drove on the road from one to the other, I would toss coins to all my illegitimate children.
You wouldn't have any children.
There goes that.
The hills look like white elephants.
I've never seen a white elephant.
No, you wouldn't have.
No, wait a minute. Just because you say I wouldn't have, what the hell is that supposed to mean?
Nothing. They don't exist. They're imaginary, imaginary white elephants. Useless idols.
That's not necessary.
And these del Toro?
It's a drink.
Can we try it?
Anis del Toro, por favor, uno.
Con agua?
I don't know. Is it good with water?
It's all right.
Con agua. I bet it tastes like licorice.
How do you know? You've never had it.
Everything tastes like licorice, especially everything you've waited for, like absinthe or Paris or sex. I've had that.
Cut it out.
You started it. I was being amused. I was having a fine time.
All right, let's try and have a fine time.
I was trying. I said that the mountains looked like white elephants. Aren't you always telling me to really look at things? Wasn't I really looking? Wasn't that bright?
Pretty bright.
And then I want to try this new drink. Isn't that what we do? You know, we try new drinks and really look at things and try new drinks.
I guess so. No. That's not exactly all we do. I do something else. I also write it down. I look at something, and then I think about it, and then I write down what I think. That's what I do it for. I don't know what you do it for, but that's what I do it for.
Just said the hills. They don't really look like white elephants. I mean, which you've never seen and I've never seen. I just meant the coloring through the trees.
It tastes like licorice.
I love the taste of licorice. I love all the things that taste like licorice.
It's really a very simple operation, Hash. I'll go with you, and I'll stay with you all the time. It's just to let the air in. It's not really an operation at all.
They put a knife in you. I think that you call that an operation.
They just let the air in, and then it's all just perfectly natural.
Air. Everything has another name. It's not licorice, it's anise del toro. It's not a baby, it's tissue. I'm sorry. What do we do afterward?
We'll be fine afterward, just like we were before.
What makes you think so?
It's the reason we're unhappy.
And if I do it, we'll be fine and you'll be happy?
I know we will.
When we had that house at Le Garfrenet, I thought that we'd always hang colored ribbons at our kitchen door.
Very domestic. Very cozy. You can have this kitchen door when we're old. We'll go and we'll live in Lake Forest. Get a kitchen, get a door, get the colored ribbons. Knock 'em dead in Lake Forest, all these colored ribbons. Look, Ash, you don't have to be afraid. I know lots of people that have done it.
So have I. And afterwards, they were all so happy. Why do you always wear that hat?
What's wrong with this hat?
It's a writer's hat.
I'm a writer.
Oh, right, I almost forgot. Writers don't have kitchen doors, they have hats. And any place they hang their hat is home sweet home to them.
You've got to realize I don't want you to do this if you don't want to.
But if I do it, you'll be happy and things will be like they were and you'll love me.
I love you now. You know I love you.
But if I do it, it'll be nice again. If I say things are like white elephants, you'll like it.
I'll love it. I love it now, but I just can't think about it. You know how I get when I worry.
I know how to cure olives. Do you?
No.
I learned how in Santa Barbara. I guess it's just something that rich girls get taught how to do, like tennis. Which is why you don't.
I told you before. I don't want to.
But you already do. You do use. We use it. So it's not money. Listen, if I do it, do you promise you won't worry anymore?
I promise it will be perfectly simple.
Then I'll do it. Because I don't care about me.
What is that supposed to mean?
I don't care about me.
I care about you.
But I don't. So I'll do it and everything will be fine. There, now that's decided. Let's go for a walk.
Hash the train.
You think we won't notice it coming?
You know what I'd like to do when this is over?
I told you you can't eat them. They have to be cured. What is it you'd like to do when this is over?
I'd like to walk over the pass down into Italy. We could go to Venice, get in a little romantic fucking.
We could go to Rapallo. Remember the day that we ate the mussels in Rapallo?
Oh.
And that French waitress, the one that we called Yvonne the Horrible.
Terrible. Yvonne the Terrible.
Yeah.
We could go back to Rapallo.
Or Cortina.
Not Cortina. That's where I lost the manuscript on the train.
And you made a scene at the station because the station master wouldn't stop it.
It was my manuscript. That might not be important to you.
And you'd left a copy of it at the concierge at the Ritz. You always leave that part of the story out. Going back isn't ever any good.
What are you talking about?
We could have had everything. And every day we make it more impossible.
We can have everything.
No, we can't.
We can have the whole world.
It isn't ours anymore. And once they take it away, you never get it back.
Don't feel that way.
I don't feel anyway. I just know things. Somebody's taken our table.
Look, as far as I know, I have only one life to live. And by God, I'm going to live it where it interests me. I have no romantic feeling about home or family or any other baggage. But if this means so much to you, then don't do it. I don't want you to do it. I am perfectly willing to go through with this whole thing if it means so much to you.
Could we go down now and have another beer? And could we maybe stop talking?
I just don't want...
You don't want anything to change. But things do change. Or they die.
I don't want anybody but you. And I know it's this perfectly simple thing.
Yeah, you would know that.
Know what?
Know that it's this perfectly simple thing.
It's all right for you to say that. But I do know it.
Would you do something for me now?
I would do anything for you.
Could we please, 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 please stop talking?
If you don't want to,
I'll scream.
Llega tarde el expreso.
En 5 minutos, casi nada. Tenga cuidado, señora. Es muy peligroso para usted.
Gracias. ¿El expreso?
Llegará aquí muy pronto.
What'd she say?
She said the express would be aquí muy pronto. If you want to live where it interests you, maybe you should get interested in speaking the language.
Just settle in. I don't want you to do it. I don't care anything about it.
I will scream.
Cyprus. They weren't going to let you on the boat because you didn't have the right stamp on your passport.
It's all gone.
Not gone at all. I wrote about it. Except it wasn't exactly you in the story.
Never exactly me in the story. Won't be exactly me in the story that you write about this.
I don't want to write a story about this.
But you will. And in this story, there will be a man, someone like you, and the woman who's not exactly me. And the woman will be sitting here, and the man will be standing there, and the train will be coming. And she'll stand up, and they'll get on the train. And they'll both know that it's not going to make any difference whether she does it or she doesn't do it.
Stop it.
And I'll be wherever I am, and I'll read the story by you.
You'll be where I am.
And I'll put it down, and I won't show it to whoever I'm with.
You'll be with me.
And all day long, I'll be remembering this day and the day in Rapallo when we ate the mussels. And even the day in Cortina when the station master wouldn't stop the train. And this certain day in La Garfrenet and this certain day in Warlepe.
Stop it.
We had all those days, didn't we?
I said stop it.
We did. We had the whole world.
It's perfectly simple. Whatever you want to do, it's going to be perfectly simple, and afterwards we'll be...
Perfectly happy.
Exactly.
Perfectly, perfectly, perfectly happy.